What if the star who captured the hearts of millions across Asia, whose charm seemed effortless and whose career soared on the wings of romance and fame, held a private life far more complicated than anyone could have imagined? What if the public image of Dylan Wang, China's Meteor Garden heartthrob, was only the surface, and beneath it lay secrets, decisions, and controversies that had been carefully hidden from view? For years, Dylan Wang has been synonymous with youthful charisma, on-screen passion, and the kind of romantic allure that fuels fan devotion on a scale rarely seen in contemporary Chinese entertainment. Meteor Garden catapulted him into international fame, and his every move, every smile, every gesture, every interview was meticulously followed, dissected, and adored by millions. Yet the very fame that elevated him also masked the complexities of his personal life, complexities that are now emerging, piece by piece, into public view. The first clue came from subtle inconsistencies, whispers in fan forums, and the careful analysis of social media activity. Observers noted patterns: trips taken without explanation, sudden absences from public events, and moments of interaction with colleagues and co-stars that seemed unusually guarded or coded. These small anomalies, invisible to casual fans, were noticed by those who had long been attuned to the rhythms of his life. Each hint suggested there was more to the story than the polished persona presented on screen. Then came the deeper revelations. Behind the charm and magnetic presence was a life carefully curated to balance fame, expectation, and private desire. Dylan Wang, like many global stars, had to navigate a world where public perception is currency and personal choices can become global headlines in an instant. The very qualities that endear him to fans, his warmth, his accessibility, his on-screen romance, also became the mechanisms by which his private life was scrutinized, and in some cases, misrepresented or manipulated. This story isn't over. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We follow the moments and emotions of your favorite TV stars. Stay with us. The Meteor Garden era, while romanticized, was only the beginning. Behind the scenes, Dylan Wang's life was marked by calculated decisions, both personal and professional. Sources close to the actor revealed a man who understood the stakes of fame, the expectations of a vast fanbase, and the necessity of managing every detail of his image. Friendships, collaborations, and even rumored relationships were shaped by careful consideration, as the pressures of international attention left little room for error or misstep. Yet the allure of scandal is irresistible. As Dylan Wang's name became increasingly linked to controversy, most recently surrounding the fallout with co-star Shinyu, the carefully constructed narrative began to unravel. Fans who had once idolized him were confronted with contradictions, with evidence that hinted at private choices at odds with the public persona. The heartbreak was intense, not merely because of revelations about behavior, but because it challenged the idealized image that millions had invested in emotionally. What is perhaps most striking is the duality of Dylan Wang's existence. On one hand, he embodies the fantasy of romantic heroism, the young star who conquered fame with charm, talent, and relatability. On the other hand, he is a man navigating the intense pressures of a global spotlight, where every gesture, every interaction, and every personal choice is magnified to extraordinary proportions. The tension between image and reality, between expectation and private truth, is at the core of his story. Media analysts point out that Dylan Wang's ability to maintain such a carefully curated persona for so long is remarkable. Few stars achieve this level of global recognition while balancing the fragile line between public adoration and personal autonomy. Every interview, every social media post, every public appearance was part of a broader narrative designed to reinforce his star image while protecting the private individual beneath. Yet, as recent scandals have revealed, even the most meticulously maintained narratives are vulnerable to revelation. Fans, caught between adoration and disappointment, struggle to reconcile the Dylan Wang they have idolized with the unfolding reality. Social media is a whirlwind of commentary, debate, and emotional response. Each revelation, each new piece of information about his private life, reframes their understanding of past moments, Interviews revisited, gestures reinterpreted, public appearances reanalyzed. The narrative of perfection has been disrupted, and with it, the sense of certainty fans once felt. Yet amid controversy and heartbreak, there remains fascination. Dylan Wang's life, both on and off-screen, continues to captivate because it embodies the universal tension between public persona and private truth. His story is not merely about scandal. It is about the human experience of fame, the costs of idolization, and the way personal choices collide with global attention. It is a narrative of charm and charisma, of mistakes and revelations, of intimacy hidden behind carefully constructed walls. And in that tension lies the cinematic drama of his life. The Dylan Wang the world sees on screen, the young, magnetic, romantic figure, is only one part of a much larger story. Beneath it lies a man navigating expectation, desire, and scrutiny on an unprecedented scale. Every decision carries weight, every gesture is interpreted, and every private moment risks becoming public knowledge. As revelations continue to surface, the world is forced to confront a difficult truth. Stars are human, and human lives are rarely as seamless or perfect as their public images suggest. Dylan Wang's story, now unfolding in real time, is a testament to that reality. It is a reminder that behind the allure of fame, behind the charm that captivates millions, lies a complex, nuanced, and deeply human narrative. In the end, the secrets behind China's Meteor Garden star are not merely scandal. They are revelation, reflection, and reality. They remind the world that celebrity is never just performance. It is the intersection of perception, expectation, and personal truth. Dylan Wang, beloved by millions, continues to navigate that intersection with all its challenges, contradictions, and complexities, proving that even legends are human and that every story, no matter how polished, has layers waiting to be uncovered. And then the storm hit. The scandal involving Dylan Wang and Shinyu, once whispers and rumors, exploded into public consciousness, leaving millions of fans stunned and hearts collectively broken. What had seemed like innocent on-screen chemistry, years of carefully curated social media posts, and charming public appearances was suddenly reframed under an entirely different light. Every interaction, every subtle gesture, every shared moment was scrutinized, replayed, and reinterpreted with a magnifying lens. Fans were left grappling with disbelief. Social media platforms overflowed with reaction videos, discussion threads, and emotional commentary. The narrative they had cherished, a story of youthful romance, passion, and unbreakable on-screen chemistry, had transformed into a cautionary tale of secrecy, misperception, and private choices exposed to the world. Screenshots, leaks, and anonymous accounts circulated, each promising revelation, each adding fuel to the fire. The leaked messages, in particular, became the focal point of the scandal. Exchanges between Dylan Wang and Shinyu revealed moments of tension, private disagreements, and glimpses of personal decisions that the public had never been privy to. What had been projected as perfection was, in reality, a complex web of negotiation, compromise, and human imperfection. Analysts pointed out that the intensity of the leak was amplified not because of scandal alone, but because it collided with the idealized image fans had built over years, a carefully constructed mythology of love and devotion now challenged by reality. Media outlets immediately pivoted, compiling timelines, cross-referencing appearances, and interviewing insiders. The global attention was instantaneous, with every revelation dissected as though part of a real-time drama. Headlines proclaimed heartbreak, betrayal, and shocking truth, while fans struggled to reconcile the Dylan Wang and Shinyu they had idolized with the private realities now emerging. Every moment, the public smiles, the hand gestures, the travel coincidences, was now interpreted as evidence, framed within a story that had once seemed untouchable. The intensity of the reaction revealed something deeper than mere fandom. Millions were emotionally invested, not just in the actors themselves, but in the narrative of perfection, possibility, and romance that had been presented to them. The scandal was devastating because it challenged trust in the story they had believed in, trust in the images carefully cultivated for years, and trust in the notion that the people they admired were living lives as flawless as their on-screen personas. And yet, amid heartbreak, fascination persisted. Analysts noted that the very human flaws revealed in the scandal only intensified public attention. Every decision, every secret revealed, every misstep became part of a complex tapestry that viewers could not look away from. The story transformed from idolization into cultural obsession, a reflection of humanity's fascination with the collision of fantasy and reality, of perception and truth. The entertainment industry braced for fallout. Projects were delayed or reconsidered, endorsements paused, and producers carefully weighed the impact on public perception. For Dylan Wang and Shinyu, the scrutiny was relentless, magnified by millions of eyes dissecting every future interaction, every public appearance. Every word, every glance, every movement would now be read through the lens of the scandal, a permanent shadow over their once celebrated narrative. And yet, in the heart of the storm, there is a lesson. Celebrity, no matter how carefully curated, cannot escape human complexity. The story of Dylan Wang and Shinyu is not just one of scandal. It is a story of truth emerging despite projection, of imperfection breaking through carefully constructed images, and of the human desire to understand the lives of those we admire. The global reaction continues to unfold. Fans grieve the loss of an illusion while analyzing every new piece of information. Media coverage remains relentless, framing the scandal as both cautionary tale and real-life drama. And through it all, the lives of Dylan Wang and Shinyu, once defined by cinematic charm and youthful romance, are now inseparable from the intrigue, speculation, and emotional intensity of the story the world cannot stop watching. This is the paradox of fame. The greater the adoration, the greater the heartbreak when perception and reality collide. And in the saga of Dylan Wang and Shinyu, millions have learned that no story, no matter how carefully told, can remain untouched by the truth forever.